is directed by Tillman Singer. And I say it like that. I've been saying it like the whole week. And I feel like this movie is Cuckoo. Going into this film, I did not understand anything about this. I didn't know what we were going to expect because the trailer was kind of, it didn't give you any clues for what it was. But I have to tell you, going into this film, seeing this film, I am glad to say that I liked it. Cuckoo basically is a film that revolves around this family who goes to this resort because the father wants to buy into this resort.
Right, he wants to expand the resort. He seems to have visited prior, and now he's back with these big plans to expand it to make it even bigger.
Yeah, to make it even bigger. And there's a whole bunch of weird stuff that's going on with this resort. Gretchen is a teen, like any other teen. It's like, I don't want to be here, and I didn't want to leave home because her mother, her actual birth mother, died. Jessica Henwick's character, she plays her stepmother, and she seems like she does not fit in. Like, she does not fit into the movie, and she does not fit in with her parents or anything else that's going around this.
Right, because she's an American, and she had to uproot her whole life to move to Germany with her father and her father's wife, which they do not get along, and they've got another little girl with them, and she's like completely rejecting the little girl. She's like, you are not my sister. This is no longer my family. I don't feel like I belong. I just want to go home. And because she's a 17-year-old, little shit. So yeah, she does not quite fit in.
This movie is about motherhood. What is motherhood? How do you express love to a child, and who is deserving of being a mother?
So I'm glad you liked it, because I was confused through a lot of the film. So this is a very German film, and it feels very European, and a lot of the humor is also very European. And what I mean by that is, like, it's a horror film, I think, but there's also like supposed to be comedy, but the movie never takes on a comedic tone. Yeah. Everything is super straight-laced, and in almost everything that's supposed to be funny is delivered like completely flat. And I guess that's the humor, but I don't know. For me, it kind of went over my head. I didn't even realize it was supposed to be funny until I heard other people in the audience laughing, and I was like, oh, that was supposed to be a joke? Okay, got it. But yeah, you're right. Like, Gretchen and her family moved to the German Alps, all the way in the mountains, so far away from America. And Gretchen is absolutely pissed about this. She's trying to make the best of it, but very quickly she's like, no, F this. I'm going home. I don't like this at all. I don't like this resort. I don't like my dad. I don't like my stepsister. I don't like none of y'all. I don't like these mountains. I don't like nothing, okay? So she's pissed off. The only thing that makes her happy seems to be the music. She likes listening to music, and that's about it. The person who runs this resort is a guy named Koenig, and Koenig comes across at first as being very accommodating. He's like, oh yeah, okay, I know you're having a hard time adjusting. I know this isn't quite America, but hey, to help you adjust, I'll let you work in the resort. And he's got this rule. He's like, hey, no working after 10. After 10, take your ass home. Do not work here after 10. And she's like, oh, okay, I'm 17 years old. I'm like not a baby anymore. I'm, it's fine after 10. I'm not afraid of the dark.
I can ride on my bike, okay?
Yeah, exactly. But it turns out there's something much more notorious going on at this resort. And it's hard to talk about it without going into spoilers. So here's your spoiler warning. From here on out, it's all spoilers, okay?
For sure.
And the only reason I want to go into spoilers is mostly because I was so lost in a lot of this movie. And I'm so happy to hear that you enjoyed it. So hopefully you picked up on something that I didn't. Just like you said, the movie is very pretty. The cinematography is very cool. It feels very like almost like Stanley Kubrick or Kubrickian or whatever, kind of slow paced or steady paced. And there's this like impending feeling of dread or doom going on. In the film, Gretchen, she ignores the 10 o'clock rule, and she stays late because one of her coworkers wants to have a booty call, And so she's like, all right, fine. I'll clean up. I'll stay late. And on her way home, she rides her bike home in the dark. We see this part in the trailer. A woman is chasing after her, and she trips and she falls and she bangs her head. And the effect is pretty cool, like a little bleeding wound that she has in her head. It's a practical effect. I thought the effects in here looked pretty good, because a lot of them were in camera.
For sure, yeah.
But I was kind of confused as to who that lady was and what was going on. Yes. But I was like, well, Devin, that's the movie, right? We're going to figure that out. And the movie takes such a sharp, like, science fiction turn that it kind of threw me off. I'm like, oh, is this supposed to be a science fiction film? Did I miss something? I feel like this is a movie I have to watch again. Like, I can tell that this director has like a sure hand. Like, the images are very pretty, and it feels like something important is happening in the film. But for the life of me, I really could not figure out why I should care. Because the big turn is we learned that Koenig is using this resort almost like a nest, right? To try and breed these subhuman or partially human breeds of people or animals or whatever. It's weird now. The Cuckoo people, which I'm gonna call them Cuckoos from now on, they're all women, and they will use some sort of a goo that they get from their body and use that to impregnate humans. And the human unknowingly gives birth to something that's not human. And we learn that this character named Alma, who is Gretchen's little sister, is one of these people. Gretchen's parents were a victim of Koenig and his meddling. And by the time that happened, it feels so weird and so bizarre that I was so out of it. I didn't get it. I feel like I didn't understand the drama. But I did like the effect of the Cuckoo people's like call. When they want to like scare you or like paralyze you with fear, I guess, they will start screeching and they go, ah, and then the main character will vibrate. They're like, then the background will vibrate too, but they'll kind of vibrate opposite of each other. And the scene will keep restarting over and over and over. And it's very off-putting, and you're like, what? What's going on? And confusing.
It was like a repeat, a loop. And it made me engage with the movie and saying, like, what is going on when these actions are happening?
And I did like that. So there are things I liked about this movie, and there are things that I was a little confused on.
You can see it from like the human point of view. When the distortion happens and it repeats itself, the human doesn't hear the screech that much, but you see like the vibration, the throttle of the throat of the half human, humanoid, bird, whatever it may be, person. And I thought that was just really cool.
Yeah, and the effect is like a weird like deja vu where like the characters they like suddenly realize they just did a thing twice, and they're like, oh, huh? And they're like, oh, huh? They're like, oh, huh? And like that was really cool, you know?
Yeah, but I can say because of that, it was confusing. And another thing that I can say that I didn't like about the film, usually around, I say the halfway point, you will get all the exposition that you need. This film itself was still telling a lot of exposition in the last 30 minutes of the scene. And I was like, why are you doing this?
Yeah, they're like sometimes they're even introducing like new rules. This is where I was confused about what the Cuckoo people are and what they do. We're introduced to Alma, the little girl, early on, and it's established that she is mute. She's not deaf, but she's mute.
Yes.
Gretchen, again, being a 17-year-old little shit, she's like, that's so annoying. You know, she thinks the little girl is like calling out for attention or something, I guess. And I like that characterization. But as the film goes on, we meet other Cuckoos, and I guess they're not mute, or are they? I can't tell. Like, are the Cuckoos supposed to look human and blend in, or are they not? I was really confused on a lot of that. And the movie really makes no effort to clarify, which makes me feel like I need to watch the film again.
It didn't clarify like the purpose of this experiment.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Like, well, why? And why are we doing this? And so like we understand that our main character was trying to expand the resort. He only breeded the Cuckoos in like this one room, this one like house at the resort, which I think they call it like the lover's nest or something like that. And so presumably if they expand the resort, there's just going to be a whole bunch of Cuckoos breeding with people all around the world and all that stuff. So like that is interesting, but is it scary? Because what are the Cuckoos? What do they do? Are they just violent attackers or something like that? I don't know. And the only thing in my head that I can really pick up as to why he wanted it is he said, oh, I'm a preservationist. So I guess is he like some sort of environmentalist that's just like gone crazy?
Don Cuckoo?
I'm not sure. I should also explain, just to clarify, a cuckoo bird, the actual real cuckoo bird, will lay its eggs in another bird's nest and make another bird raise its young. And then when the young grow up,
Yeah.
the cuckoos leave the nest and come home, you know?
Right.
So this is like a human version of that, and which is a really interesting and very provocative idea. But again, I wasn't sure what the movie was doing with it.
I also say that with the confusion of the film and the fact that you feel like you have to see it again was kind of part of the intriguing part for me. It makes me want to go back and see something else that I missed. I say a lot also. I said, if you didn't make your point the first go around, why would I come back to it? But with this film is intriguing enough for me to say, you know what? If this comes out on Netflix or whatever again in the future, I'm gonna just pop this in and see if I missed anything, with this film.
Right. You kind of get this sense that like there are things happening and there are phrases and little symbols in the film that don't mean anything the first time you watch it, but might mean something later. I've only seen this film once, so I can't see it from that perspective. I like the idea of this 17-year-old girl forcefully having to grow up and accept her family. I like this idea of this American being trapped in these mountains in Germany, somewhere completely foreign, a language she didn't understand. Even just counting the money seemed to be like a new experience for her. Counting the money in the till, So I like that. I can see a lot of potential for horror there. Again, for me, I feel like this movie may not just have been for my taste, but I could totally see this being for someone else's taste.
I also see that Tillman was trying to take a little something from the past with other horror films like Michael Myers, the Halloween series, where there's a character that's in this film that is like a cop in this, and he's like disheveled, and he's like all grisly, and he's like, I will protect you. Yes, Henry.
Like Loomis or something like that?
Loomis, yeah. Yeah, he's a psychiatrist, but he is like a protecting figure that's like, I know what's going on. And the audience that's watching this film follow me as I try to protect this girl. That type of figure.
Right.
Also, with Gretchen, you said that she's forced to grow up like this. I kind of feel that the director and the writer of this was hearkening in on motherhood still, because Gretchen lost her mother. She was very distraught about it. She would be calling the answer machine just to hear her voice and stuff about it, which secluded her away from the family. Later on in the film, she kind of has to adopt this mother-like nature to save her sister.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, that's why I'm still thinking in my mind, like, is this movie has to be about motherhood and who's deserving of being a mother.
I love that. That's great. This movie, like I said, is very European. The director is German, and he's putting in a lot of German characters, and obviously the whole thing takes place in Germany. But there are characters here that are supposed to be American, and I feel like he didn't do a good job of like small things, like the naming conventions. Gretchen is not a very American name, dude. No. That's very German, okay? That's the most European name I ever heard in my life. And her little sister, Alma, I don't think I've even heard that name before. The movie feels very European. You know what I mean? And then our main character, who is from Euphoria, she's supposed to be 17, and I gotta say, she doesn't look 17 to me. She looks her age, which is like 25, 26. So the movie has to tell me that she's 17 before I'm like, oh, okay, got it. And then at the same time, Jessica Henwick is supposed to be like
40 something years old,
but they look the same age because they are about the same age,
Yeah.
And so like I was distracted by that, but I could tell, just like you could, that was not something I was supposed to notice, right? So this is like a movie that I feel like would probably, for me, benefit from multiple viewings, because there's, just like you said, and I think you freaking nailed it, dude. This movie is very dense. There's a lot of words. The script has got to be 1,000 pages long, and there's still more exposition, like even like deep into the third act,
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just like it's dense. There's a lot here.
It's unusual.
Yeah, exactly. It's unusual. It's not what you expect. My experience watching the film, it felt like I was high. That's kind of what the movie felt like, where I was like, huh? What? And I feel like I was confused when I missed something, but the movie keeps telling me that no, I didn't miss anything, and that I'm in the right spot. But I felt disoriented, and I could tell that was that was the effect that the director wanted. Right? He wanted this kind of disorienting, confused effect going on. But personally, I was just confused. But I think the effect is supposed to be horror. And it sounds like you might have gotten more of that than I did.
I was gonna write a script, but then I got
exactly.
That was the whole thing going on in this film.
Yeah. And maybe you got to be high to really enjoy it, because I was kind of checked out of it. But I could see that a skilled filmmaker made this film, but he might have made it for an audience that was not for me.
It didn't give us the why. This movie never presented a why at all on why this whole thing about motherhood is so important to him and his staff there.
And I was also a little bit confused on like what would happen if the Cuckoo caught up with Gretchen. They're impregnating these women. So I'm like, is that what the Cuckoo wants? But then there's a scene where a Cuckoo does catch up with Gretchen, and it just like bops her head. It's like bop. That kind of made me think about, okay, so why didn't Koenig want Gretchen at the resort after 10? Was he afraid that she would be impregnated, and that's not what he wanted? He wanted to impregnate Trixie, maybe? Like, I think you're right on that. I think he only expected to have the people that was in that car. Because remember, Gretchen was following in a truck that was behind them. Right.
His father didn't tell, like, we got our other daughter coming along. And then he's like, you know what? I'm just going to keep her busy just doing some stuff up here and working in the office and stuff. But don't you get involved in my experiment, because you're not the ingredient that I need in my cooking.
Right.
Okay, because if you...
He got being like, oh, you're fighting for resources, and we don't need that. Like, you're taking resources away from my precious Cuckoo. But why didn't he know? Like, did he not know Gretchen existed? Like, how is that possible? And especially if the mother's dead, did Koenig not know the mother was dead? Did he expect Gretchen to stay in America with the mother? Like, I was kind of confused about that.
I don't think the Tillman was writing that correctly, or he didn't even care. He just cared. I gotta have the main character here, and bad things have to happen to her. I did enjoy seeing Jessica Henwick back,
but I'm surprised she fell out of the movie. Like, where did she go? Like, there's a scene where she got sick,
and they just took her away. Her and the father just disappeared. Didn't even come back.
No,
because the director was like, I gotta focus on the cop and the main bad guy and Gretchen and the little girl right now. Everything else, go away.
The whole character has just vanished in the third act, and there was really no explanation for it, at least not that I picked up.
But I do appreciate Tilman Singer's directing style.
There's like a skeleton of a great film in here, and there's like a skeleton of like some really fantastic directing, but there's no like meat on the bones for me just yet. So maybe his next few films will clarify or fix those little issues, but I am interested to see where he goes next.
But that's how we felt about this film. More importantly, how did you feel about this film? Get in the comments and let us know what you thought about Cuckoo. That's not like saying it like that.
That's funny.
Thank you so much for clicking on this video. We really do appreciate you guys. It's because of you that we got to this video, because we did a poll. All right. And thank God we didn't get to Borderlands, because we'll probably be doing more polls on this channel. So pay attention to our community tab. And when you see one come up, just vote, and you'll probably see a movie like this on there. And if you're new to seeing us, please do us a favor and hit that subscribe button right at the bottom. All right. It'll bring a lot of joy to your face for sure. And if you did like this review for this film, please hit the thumbs up. All right. Or you get the thumbs down, whichever you choose. It is your opinion, but just remember one thing: it is mostly wrong. Stay out of the woods. Okay, that's what it is. Stay out of any woods. America, Germany, the mountains, all that stuff. Stay out of that and close your ears.
That's funny.